Hello, it's the chairman again. Through the years, I've discovered some of the most critical clues to the future are hidden for us in plain sight. Take, for instance, the names of the candidates hand-picked by political bosses and chosen to run on the 2024 Democratic ticket. My good friend Troy Anderson is the author of a new best-selling book entitled The Trump Code, exploring time travel, Nikola Tesla, the Trump Lineage, and America's future. Troy had some thoughts about the topic. Kamala Harris announced her choice of Tim Walz as her vice presidential running mate. However, if you dig deep into the Hebrew language, you'll uncover that this race may not merely be about the vice presidential candidate, but more about a sinister, dark, invisible spirit influencing Tim Walz and Kamala Harris. This malevolent essence may be steering them with a dark agenda aimed at the destruction of both Israel and the United States. Kamala, rearranged, spells Amalek, ancient enemy of Israel. Get this, the name Kamala, in rearranged form, spells Amalek, drawing a profound parallel to Kamala Harris. Amalek was the ancient enemy of Israel, representing unyielding opposition and conflict. Similarly, Kamala Harris stands as a significant adversary to Donald Trump, embodying a modern-day Jezebel, whose corrupt influence and idolatry plagued Israel. Not Tim Walz, rearranged, spells Tzalmot, Hebrew, shadow of death. Rearranging the exact letters of Not Tim Walz spells Tzalmot win. Beware if Harris Walz wins, because in Hebrew, Tzalmot translates to shadow or shadow of death, evoking a sinister and foreboding presence. This anagram is an eye-opening wake-up call. The hidden meaning suggests that beneath the surface of the new presidential-vice presidential ticket of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz lies a deeper, more malevolent force, especially if we see a Tzalmot win. Just one of the many dark deeds of Tzalmot, aka Walz, was his being the first governor in the United States to enshrine abortion into law in Minnesota. In Scripture, names often carry deep meanings and purposes. God sometimes allows individuals to have names that signify their roles or the challenges they'll face. Just as Amalek was an adversary to Israel, Kamala Harris is positioned as a formidable opponent to Donald Trump. This parallel suggests a deeper narrative where God may have a divine plan for these individuals' names and roles. God allowed Israel to defeat the Amalekites, symbolizing the triumph of his chosen people over their adversaries. Similarly, it's possible that God may allow Donald Trump to overcome his political opponents, including Kamala Harris, just as he allowed Israel to prevail over Amalek. This perspective highlights the belief in divine intervention and purpose in historical and contemporary conflicts. Jehu and Jezebel. In the Bible, Jehu was anointed by God to eradicate Jezebel, a symbol of corruption and idolatry in Israel. Trump can be seen as a modern-day Jehu, called to confront and defeat the corruption in politics and the deep state, much like Jehu stood against Jezebel's influence. Jehu's mission was divinely ordained, emphasizing the need for strong, decisive action against pervasive evil. Similarly, Trump is often compared to Cyrus of Persia, a ruler who, despite not being an Israelite, was used by God to help his people. Cyrus was known for his bold and sometimes ruthless actions to achieve his goals. Trump's personality, often seen as tough and unyielding, may be necessary to stand up against the entrenched powers and corruption in politics, much like Cyrus was instrumental in overcoming significant challenges. Cyrus's role underscores the idea that God can use unconventional leaders to fulfill his purposes. Divine temperament. While Trump's temperament is tough for many to accept, it might be precisely what's needed to confront the deep-seated issues within the political system. His assertive and often combative nature could be viewed as a tool used by God to challenge and reform the political landscape. This perspective invites contemplation on the mysterious ways that God chooses and equips his instruments for specific missions. This anagram serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing battle between good and evil. While Kamala Harris and Tim Walz may represent forces that oppose constitutional and divine values, Donald Trump stands on the other side, potentially as a divinely chosen leader despite his controversial past. Trump, once known for his bad boy persona, seems to have experienced a significant transformation following an assassination attempt. This event may have served as a wake-up call, compelling him to align even more so with God's will and work toward the betterment of the nation. Troy Anderson explores this and many other intriguing things about Trump and the upcoming presidential election in his new book, The Trump Code, Exploring Time Travel, Nikola Tesla, the Trump Lineage, and America's Future. Trump's renewed focus on doing good and addressing the corruption and evil in politics parallels the stories of Jehu and Cyrus. His leadership, despite its tough and often abrasive nature, could be viewed as necessary to confront and dismantle the deep-seated corruption within the political system. I know how I'm voting, but no matter how this election turns out, it's reassuring to know that the King of Kings is still on the throne, and he promises to work all things together for good to those of us who are called by him according to his purpose. When we make his election our selection, he rules in the kingdom of our hearts, and that brings peace no matter what the circumstances around us. God bless you, and God bless America.